Welcome, everybody, to another edition of CBSI's Vintage Voyage. Tonight, we are going to talk about just investing and collecting LB Cole covers. We've done some as investing, we've done some as collecting. We thought we'd try one as a hybrid and see what the heck happens. With me, as always, I got Ben C. from his Dungeon in Parts Unknown. Welcome, sir.
Sure. What's going on, brother? How you been?
I've been good. I'm excited for this one. LB Cole's just got so much stuff, but it's in all these weird titles and weird numbers, and it sometimes just gets it's as complicated to look at as his work. So, just as always, I just check out comicbookinvest.com for all your comic book investing, speculating, and just knowledge dropping needs for the best free content daily. There'll be an article on these books posted probably tonight, if not tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And then, Comic Barricade has the new Comic Barricade XL, which is designed for these slab boxes and magazine sizes. So you Golden Age guys, this is perfect, as well as the slabs. Kind of get an image of it here. You can still see the slabs on top. Order at comicbarricade.com. Use CBSI Tails and get 10% off your order and free shipping as always. All right. So, LB Cole is arguably one of the best. I mean, top, 3?
Yeah, I mean...
Top 5? I don't know.
It's so tough. It depends what day it is and what book, man, because, Frazetta exists outside of comics. And on a wildly side note, I was going through books earlier, and I came across... You always forget that Tim Holt, fucking Ghost Rider stuff, has Frazetta covers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, all the time. So then I'm going through my shit. I found one. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, dude, Frazetta exists outside. In the comic world... I don't know, man. As far as Golden Age goes, Bernard Bailey, LB,
Schomburg,
yeah, absolutely. Good call.
Baker, dude, Baker's in there. He's just different. I don't know. Top 3 to 5, and just the
when it comes to horror, top shelf.
Yeah. And as we kind of talk about it, some of his books are potentially not fully valued even. As I got kind of looking at it, I was surprised on some of it. So I think that should be interesting from a, conversation perspective, just to see some of the stuff that you don't see every day. Some of them everybody sees all the time just because they're the hot books. But there's some great ones that nobody really talks about. And if you're not looking for them, you don't know what you're missing. So we're going to do it kind of the tiered system, roughly under $100, and then under about 500, under around 1,000, and then we're going to talk about the grails, because most of these books don't go much above 1,000 except a handful, and they go crazy. But let's see here. First couple books are just some easy ones that if you're just looking to get some Cole goodness, will not run you much money. Here is Foremost. Nothing in the GPA because nobody's ever sold the graded one. I did look. I couldn't find any for sale, but I'm betting you're not going to pay more than, $20, maybe give or take, depending on grade on that puppy. But you can easily find some cheap copies of a book like that.
I think you get a nice $50 copy. You're getting a VG to a fine.
I think you might even be higher.
But it's a polar bear cover.
Yeah. I mean, there's somebody out there that collects polar bears because there's demented people like me that collect sharks and other things.
That's true.
Some of his less horror-based art and even, the sci-fi is going to be the high-dollar stuff. Once you get out of those genres, it does get a little cheaper. But if you're looking, this one's kind of a cool one that pops up now and again. This Manhunt number 4. It's not wicked detailed, but it is just visually cool to see. Bright red with the LB Cole kind of green-yellow thing going on in the background. I saw some copies of this had sold $20 to $40 for, I would call them VG range. So that's ungodly cheap for, something like, low end work for Mr. Cole.
Dude, I might have put the wrong book. Let's skip to Startling Terror. That's my fault.
No, not the one you wanted?
No, sorry. I don't think that's I think that's a theorized but unknown.
A
like
potential.
It looks exactly like the cover to not Lawbreakers, the other one.
Oh yeah.
Right, like the outline.
Yeah. It does. It looks like something he did. All right. So Startling Terror. This is a Western, mind you.
This is definitely him.
Yeah, well, give us a break. It's Sunday. It's early. I saw a couple listed and a couple sell. You're going to be a little more like the $50 range, $60, $70 will kind of get you a decent copy. It's not a true horror cover. It's more of a Western kind of adventure vibe going on. But still, detailed art. You can kind of see his style in there. We talk of Westerns being dead. Here's one. If you're a Western fan, you could kind of potentially have a little bit of life in it.
And this is that later stuff. This is the Star Publications, which, for those who don't know, I don't know what his first comic was. I think it was Power 4, his first cover.
Okay.
He did pulp covers in 42. I know he did some work on like Foremost and a couple other books in 43, 44. And then September, November 44 was Power. Point being, in 49, Novelty, who owned and ran all that, the titles that he was doing, sold him the rights to everything that he was really stuff. So he created Star. And that's why from like 1950 to 1953, you just have this run of the most savage books that heads out and ends in the Blue Bolt, which turns into like Blue Bolt Weird Mystery, which turns into Blue Bolt's Ghastly Ghostly Tales or whatever. Anyway, that's like sidetrack.
Yes, that's a proper sidetrack. All right, so going back again to the Startling Tales, or Startling Terror. This one is probably a little tougher to track in that price range. I saw a sale. Only one that sold was probably a low end, very good. It was about $140. But I'm betting out in the wild you might be able to strike this guy under $100. It'd definitely be in that ballpark.
It's because there's one online with like not great condition.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was under $100.
Yeah, and there's a wide degree of very good in Golden Age. A Golden Age very good that has the whole front cover and presents well is going to sell a bit more than one that's maybe missing a couple little pieces or got some more tearing or something to it. So I think you could squeak by this one and find it out there. It's not one of the most hunted for ones, but it definitely has a cool sci-fi terror vibe, right?
Yeah, I dig it, man.
I mean, and his bold use of like color and contrast, there's the darks and the lights it's amazing. And that's what makes him pop. I remember, just kind of getting into it and cruising eBay for books to be interested in or books I want to buy. And you go, oh, that's cool. And, it's almost always cool because they have their own vibe.
I dig the logo too. Like I dig the logo on the Star stuff. It's big and it's there, but I don't know, man.
It tells you it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, gives you a little something.
His logos also, he loves to use the various colors and that kind of with the startling and the thrilling we talk about later. He likes to make those logos have some action in them.
It's very true.
One more. I don't even know where you came up with this one.
Oh, This is to it's to illustrate, right? So like this is super early Cole stuff. This is 1945, I think, 46. So for a very short period, from the end of 44 to like 46, it was Holyoke. I'm like, who did Mask? Holyoke published Mask. It was Holyoke, and then books like this. So he was doing cartoons, super, but you can almost see the same style in the sense of like the lines and the coloring, and like the fact that he still made it a Bondage cover.
True.
But it's a wild juxtaposition. The way that Frazetta in comics is, when you go from Famous Funnies and compare it to Ghost Rider, it's a very different style. Schomburg, Jesus, like this is up there with comparing the two styles of Schomburg. Like this is, I don't know, this is not psychedelic, right? Like everything
No.
like 1950.
It does have the bold use of color, though. I mean, the man did not shy away from the reds, the greens, the yellows.
This is fun, super cheap stuff too. If you know,
I didn't get to look at this one, but I can't imagine you spend more than a few bucks.
No,
You know?
no, I don't think so. I've bought and sold so many LB covers just because you can't go. You can keep them all, I guess, because they're so cheap apparently. But
Yeah, but sometimes you get them and you're like, oh, I'm going to move on to the next.
and it's you buy them because you're like, I'm not leaving it in the store for $25 fucking.
Somebody deserves to have
I'm
it.
just not right. Like somebody wants this.
Even if I'm selling it for $35, it
Yeah,
needs
it was
to not
usually
be
like
in this
$40,
bin.
$50 shipped. You know what I mean? But like,
It's got to get out of this bin.
and I'll take the money, man. I'll take the small money and put it into something. I have a very small LB stack, but
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
I've been on the mission to do what I said and start selling some of the smalls. And I went through the Golden Age box and pulled. I got about most of a short box of Golden Age, and I pulled about half of it out to just a list.
Good for you.
I'm trying.
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to catch up with enough stuff. Like, this is the bullshit that's on my desk to list.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, make sure you do the trash before you go post Golden Age. But
No, I've found I have to do like one day I'll post a couple of good Golden Age books or some books that don't suck, and then the next day I'll spend listing shitty books for the day so that I'm balancing it out. So if you look at my eBay, you'll be like, we just listed 10 books that are $10 each, and then the next 3 are, $400 books. Just
no in between.
I gotta force myself, because if we just list the crap ones, you lose your will to live, and if you just list the good ones, you'll still have the crap ones when you're done.
That's true words have never been spoken.
All right, so now we're gonna jump into a little more where you're gonna have to live, which is under 250 you can do quite a bit. Again, we're talking probably trying to get in the very good raw, or maybe a little lower, a little higher, but not much. So we talked about the Blue Bolt run.
This is under 500.
No, I had this one.
I mean, this one might be cheap, but this whole tier is 500.
Oh, well, then maybe I got it.
It's fine. Just keep going.
Let's say the entry level tier. You're going to be a little on the lower side.
This is where the cool books start.
Yes. So I did do some research here. Yeah, we got them jumbled, but that's okay. This one, actually, I think probably should be up the tier, because a 1.0 sold for 600, a 4.5 is a 2K book, and 7.5 is 4,400. So probably we should have reshuffled this one a tad, but it's freaking amazing.
I based everything on eBay sales and just ran with it. It was like,
well, no, I think it's also desirability. Where does it fit in that scale too? Because it's not quite. It's not just math. It's a little bit of where is the money clamoring and where This one might be a little harder to get gains on as it goes.
This is I don't know, man. Like, out of all the Blue Bolt covers, this is not one of the top ones.
Correct.
Like, if you're a war fan, this is your chase book. Like, it's 10 times better than the 6.
Yeah, it's just a...
Give me the horses, man.
Yeah. All right, so you got the next one in this realm of entry level is the Captain Flight, the number 10.
This is that 1944, 1945 shit. I think this is 1945. Everything about this makes me happy. Look at that cover, man. Look at the plane. Look at everything. Look at the colors. Like, look at the unobtrusive logo.
Yes, we're so lucky to tell us if this plane is He's
going to tell us what G.I. Joe was modeled after it, because that's what that is, man. Do you remember the fucking Cobra dude, like the Cobra Emperor that came after? Like, that's the shit that's based on, man. They were like, we need something that looks like that.
Yes, we need something that just looks awesome. All right. This one is, honestly, it's a bit dark for my taste with him. We talked about the active titles, the dripping blood and the weird. It's in that, the Blue Bolt family of books. The Thing in the Void. It's just a little dark and a little, I don't want to say sloppy is not the word, but it's just doesn't look as well as some of the other stuff.
There's not enough. I bet as the actual art, it's just insanity. But once you fill it all out and put that box on it and the Thing in the Void and the logo, like, by the time you're done, you can't appreciate what was probably happening on that cover.
Maybe it's almost too simplistic for him, or it's all lost in the background. I don't know.
I think it's too zoomed in, man. I bet if you removed everything and we just saw the original cover.
Yeah. Well, he's a little bit like Schomburg on some of his stuff, a trippy Schomburg, where there's so much going on some of these covers, and when you kind of see one like this, it's like there's not as much going on as I want to see. So
that's true, kid.
All the colors in the title.
Yeah. Been an active chat this evening.
Solo Wookie is back with top does look like G.I. Joe.
See?
Jorge Lopez, Andy T, Graphic Man, Josh Allen, Comic Jump, and Ruben Guzman all in the chat. Oh, Dennis Hayes and Highlander
Comics. Dennis.
Yes, welcome, guys. It's good to have you as always. We'll try and keep an eye on you and answer any questions that pop up. We get distracted easily. This is one that I dig. I don't think I'm ever going to drop the money on it because it just is. It's a shark cover. It's not my favorite shark cover for some reason, but it is a cool shark
for some
cover.
reason. Because fucking Seven Seas exists.
Yeah, I know. There's other ones too. There's lots of other ones.
Daring 9, the Schomburg Timely with them all fucking tied up over the fucking shark pit.
I think I would be paying Cole money for a book that I don't think feels enough like Cole. You know what I mean?
You know why? This 1946, 47 to 49 stuff, this novelty Target, Guns Against Gangsters, Young King Cole. I keep going to say Nat King Cole, but it's Young King Cole. All that stuff. And it's most of it's because of the sidebar. That yellow sidebar kills me on some of these covers. Yeah. I know Andy sent me something. I sent it to you in Hangouts. A book, honest to God, I've never seen the cover before.
I'll have to look.
He's a big fan of this era. And I get it, man. I get it. But I also get where you're coming from with the shark. Like,
it's not even a great shark.
It's just not there. Like, it's not there. That Great Comics 1 is good. I don't know if there's a shark on that.
Oh, we didn't even include that book.
That's because I had that book. I sold it. I don't want to look back.
What? I mean, talk about that book for a second while I find this because I'm pulling that image up. But I mean, that
Great
book has.
Comics 1 is an interesting. Go ahead.
I mean, because it's a weird fucking story. As far as what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, so for those who don't know, Great Comics 1, there's a bunch of comics like Red Seal, there's a bunch, like the only thing I can think of, that have different interiors with just different covers slapped onto them. They're the earliest form of variants.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. And Great Comics has, a dozen, 2 dozen?
A fuck ton is the only word I have for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what they all are. I have seen somebody on IG that seems to have all or most of them, and it's like, what is going on here? So, yeah, it's crazy that you can have that many covers with comics. All right, I'm gonna pull this one up from Andy. It's not gonna be fit the same way as everything else, so apologies. Young King Cole. I don't even know what number it is.
I think it's 11, maybe.
And that's a weird. What is chasing her?
A tidal wave?
Oh.
I don't know. It looks like she's falling off, and the dude's going to step on her hands, and there's some dead dude in the background.
So that's probably one of these cheap books you could find for minimal and do well. I mean, I'm sure Andy did not pay too much for this raw if he bought it raw.
No, but he's thrilled to own it. And that's a grade, man. Like if you're gonna own an obscure LB, like
pick a nice one.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing, Andy. Appreciate it. Very cool. We learned something new today.
Yeah.
All right. What the hell was I on? Oh, the shark. Next one. Power. Power number 4.
This is the one I think. I think this is the first LB cover. Somebody can correct me. This is September 44. Mask. Everything else is 45 that I could find, that I've seen, that I know. DS might know. What up, DS?
Yeah, he'll straighten us out. This is
and Suppa Mars from Arizona.
While this is not a wild cover, yeah, you do still kind of see a bit of it. I mean, with the bird and the wings and the details there, and just using the contrasting color and the red.
I think it's a strong ass cover, man.
For what it is, you could get lost in the details because there's a lot of red, but like if you focus in on that bird, man, you could be there a while.
It is arguably better than what is it really just called Eagle?
I don't know.
Yeah, it totally is. I have a very small LB collection, but I have some of the better ones. And then I have some of the random ones, but I think this is one of the more popular.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
But I don't know, man. Like, it's arguable that the bird on the power might be... I don't know. We'll just accept that they're both cool covers.
Let's see. I didn't get any sales data on that one. All right, this is a wonky one.
So this is the very, very weird inner between the Target and the I want to say RV9, but it's not RV9. I'm saying RV9 because Andy did a cover homage variant for the comic RV9. Target, all that stuff, all the yellow sidebar. This is what came after it when he did a very small amount of romance covers that, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and this one, there's a 3.5 sold this year for $300. So
We appreciate you.
About $100 a point. It's not where I would chase putting my money. I don't think. I don't know.
You're not a romance comic guy.
No, and I don't know. I think there's better romance out there. People have done it better.
There is. There absolutely is. Kind of like there's better funny animal. There is not better funny animal Christmas covers, which I left off this list intentionally. And now that I've said it out loud, the cat's out of the fucking bag, and now I got to go buy them all. It's like, talk about a crossover that I need. LB Cole Christmas covers.
We'll do it on the Christmas show.
Dude, the Christmas show. Just fucking...
Yeah. So it's a cool book. If you're into romance and you want a Cole, you get it. It's not, like I said, not one I think I would bet on with my money, but you teach their own here.
You're not going to lose on it.
No. Startling Terror Tales 6. So 5.0 sold for just under $600. A 3.0 ran you $200, and a 2.5 actually ran you $300. So you can get in the low grades in under $500, fairly reasonable. I
think I was the guy that got the low grade. I think I paid like $150 or $200 for this.
Nice, very nice.
I was thrilled to buy it for that. It's one of the new slabs too.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's a war cover. It's got that kind of flair of the explosion of color around kind of the darker item. It's a very, if you want a war book, it's fairly solid for his work there.
I like it more than EC War, right? And I like EC War to a degree. I really do. I think 18. Holy fuck. Smoke more, Ben. Yeah, anyway.
All right, so we got a couple of these
Brought
guys.
You from a different dimension.
Yes. Number 7 is also an interesting one. Sales on that. Somebody got a 2.0 for $67. So congrats, whoever pulled that off. 4.0 was about $400, a 5.5, $700, and an 8.5 sold at some point in the last year for almost $9,000.
And that's the point. You can play low grade. Everybody can play LB, and it's a wonderful, wonderful fucking place to play. But when you hit the 6 and the 8 on almost all stars, you go from being like, haha, I can grab a couple books, I can do this, to like, sweet Jesus, I can't afford.
Yes.
That's like real high grade prices. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, but it's because they're impossible to find in grade. And we're talking about in grade as investment grade. And 6 and 8 seems to be that level.
Thank you, Andy. Much appreciated, my man. And welcome Tim Marshall to the chat. This one doesn't speak to me particularly, but it, you see a lot going on there with the water, a lot of detail. So I love
the creepy fucking face in the background, like,
I don't know what that is.
or the eyeball that like is behind the lady that like is running to, and like, I don't know, man. This cover confuses me. I'm just gonna leave it.
I don't know what he intended to happen. It's almost like two different covers.
I don't know, man.
Here's another one. This is one, I swear to God, came up on my eBay search every fucking week because I used to have a search for Startling 10, trying to get the Fighting Yank, and this guy would pop up, and I'm like, I just don't love it. I'd see it and I'd grow in appreciation. There's times that I'm almost buy it just because it was cool. I think I ultimately have talked myself out of it. Got some red dress distress going on it, but it's just,
if you're going to spend money on a book like in this range, there's just better books to buy.
I agree. That's not his best work.
Random fact. So the first time I saw this cover, it is reprinted as a magazine, not Warren, Erie Publications, Oddly enough, not the people who published Eerie and Creepy. That was Warren. But they did like the gruesome, over the fucking top horror mag covers of the 70s, and they did a homage to, if not a swipe of this.
Interesting.
Is it?
If I'd seen it, it'd be more interesting. But all right, this one is. I had not actually seen this one pop up before. It's not one that was on my radar. I don't think I've consciously seen this book.
This book, man. I've seen this book once, and the price terrified me. I was like, I'm out. It was super high grade.
Oh, I'm sure.
Superworld. It was Superworld or Dolgoff, maybe Harley. Because I feel like I went on that binge in like 2015.
So a 5.0 was $1,200 and a 6.0 was $1,000. So if you get into that mid grade, you're going to spend $1,000 on it. There just were no low sales and no high sales recently. So it tells me maybe it's a more rare book. I think it's at the end of the run. So maybe it just didn't have as wide a distribution, just got in a bad scale. But I see that 10 a ton, and I don't see this one ever. So I don't want to say that it's out there less, but it sure feels like it. So
you know what it reminds me of? Lawbreakers.
Oh yeah.
The 3, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
it has that exact style, and I know that it's Star and 53 or 54 and blah 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 blah, but still, man.
So many covers we didn't include. Jesus Christ. I felt like I did images for days on this one, and I was like,
I hit 32 or 33, and I was like, if we keep going, he's going to be like,
yeah, I'll lose my mind.
I almost did a complete cover gallery for the site,
yeah,
and then I got to 33, and I was like, we're done here.
That's too much.
There's so many more.
But
we got a lot of the good ones, man. We really did.
Oh, nice. Fine range for 12. Okay, cool. DS nickel spot. Yeah, welcome, Super Mars. Now we kind of get into, these are a couple that you instant really recognize. It's Suspense 8, cool spider cover. Not his only use of that spider, but got some red dress going on. You can definitely kind of get the vibe that it's him. Surprisingly not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. A 1.8 and a 2.0 sold this year for about $700-800 range.
Which is shocking to me. This is that 1945. So this is that classic early first year of comic Cole covers.
You could have got a 4.0 for about $1,500 last year and a 7.0 last November for $7,200. So once you get the high grade, bam. And 7's not even that high.
It is. I mean, for 45, it absolutely is, right?
It
like
is.
53, you want the 8. 44 and up. I mean, 45 and but like, I don't know, man. 45 is like atomic age.
You just don't usually see that high jump at the 7. It's usually usually want that 8. But if it hasn't come up and you're settling and you're wanting something and that's the highest one that's popped in years, then you go for it because you may not see the other ones. Who knows how buried in collections these are?
It's very true.
And then Suspense 9, very trippy cover.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't love this one. I dig it. I had an opportunity to buy it a few times. I know people dig it. My money doesn't. I don't know. My money didn't go to it. I actually bought the next comic instead.
Well, I agree. This one, bold use of color with the red, the greens, the blues, the yellows, lots of eye appeal. It just doesn't have enough going on for me. It's cool to see. Awesome, it's there. But if I'm going to buy one of these, this is not on that list of where I'd want to throw money and hope it grows. You can get this one pretty cheap. A 1.0 sold for $390. 4.0 sold for $850. So not as cheap as you want, but still not ungodly.
Set 1945. I'm sorry, John. What?
A 6 was 1,800, and a pair of 8s actually sold this year. Was it this year or last year? In the last 12 months, right around 8K, or I'm sorry, right around 5K each. So, again, if I'm spending that much on this kind of thing, there's other ones I like more and I think have more upside. That feels more like a completionist type thing going on,
or just a a pre, the pre 1946 covers.
Exactly.
You want to play in the mask and the power and the suspense, then you're chasing these.
All right, so this is kind of this last in this kind of tier, and this one's kind of borderline on that number, but Terrors of the Jungle, number 17. A 4.0 was 350, which surprised the heck out of me. I thought it was higher. A 5.0 was 650, and a 6.0 was 1,200. But this is classic Cole, man. Just so much freaking going on, so much. We talked about some of the others being so simple that it threw us off. This one is just, I bet Ben has spent literally hours staring at it and not realized it.
I had it and finally put it up, I don't know if I got rid of it yet. I bought it for what I thought at the time was a fantastic deal. A couple $100 maybe, super low grade, but you look at the prices and you're like, oh shit. What I don't understand. I guess we shouldn't complain because you can pretty much buy what you want for LB, but at some point you have to figure this stuff's going to catch because I don't know. I look at Beware and I know it's Frazetta, but you look at Chamber and Black Cat 50 and stuff, and look at the census numbers. It's not like
there's not a ton.
No, but it's not like either one's outrunning the other or It's just supplies outstripping it.
This is one that I could see buying a nice presenting copy in that 4 or 5, 6 range. Well, maybe not 6, but in that mid-grade range, and just putting them away because this one's got potential. There's just so much going on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was reading DS's comments.
Which books he sent? Oh, this one. Yeah, if he did, congrats. Oh, on the 8. Yeah, I remember that. I think you tried to trade me the 8 at some point. Yeah. And then, so we're kind of heading into that next tier of prices. So if you got a little more money, Blue Bolt, 110. And these are
the first issue. It's the first issue of the horror run.
Yeah, and you're going to have to play more over $500 for these generally. I mean, not to say you can't find something, but more commonly it's going to be in that 5 to 1,000 type range to kind of get into the ballpark for these boys. And as we said, you can go up to the moon on them. A 4.0 sold for $840, and a 4.5 sold for $1,000. A 6.5 sold for $1,800. So
the most important thing to remember too, especially with Golden Age, when people say, well, it sold for that, you're like, that's great. That was the last one. What is the next one going to sell for?
Yeah.
You're not going to get, maybe you get lucky, and sometimes they do. They get soft and you get deals and auctions and all that, but oh man, I don't know.
Like Dia said, he doubled his money on that Suspense 8, so it makes sense.
Yeah, easily.
And this one, I don't love the bottom bar, but everything else on it's great. It's got a little bit of a horror sci-fi vibe. You got the planets in the background. Again, not my favorite for that amount of money, but I could see people digging it. I'm
close. I like how the background is almost a throwback to that 1945 style.
Yeah, the background is gorgeous. The monster's a bit underwhelming. And then you've got the bottom bar, which blows up.
Again, after some of the, oh god, some of the ones coming up are just just melting your face off.
Yeah, we're getting to the good stuff now. So, Blue Bolt 116, Weird Tales 116. This zombie is freaking intense. Yeah. Love it. Pricing on this guy is 116 is a 3.0 sold for $570, a 5.5 was $1,000, and an 8.0 sold for $3,600. And all these are roughly within the year. You might get a few things in early 19 that I'm talking about, but not much. So this one again is, I would call it vintage Cole, because this is his style to me. This is what you're like. The colors, the use of the logo, even kind of as part of the picture, and wild trippy colors going on. So this one has kind of been on a tear, I feel like.
I really like this. I like everything about this. So this in comparison to the one, not the 115, I like the 115, and the 117. The 116 is the Army skeleton cover. Yes. I would take this one every day over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another one in the Blue Bolt run, number 117. This one is almost too wild for Cole. I mean, the strokes look a little different than some of his other stuff. You know, he has a lot of that swirl and style, and this one just is like he took it to the extreme.
Look at this. Bring this up. I have a decent enough copy that can be shown.
Oh, not me. You. Damn it. Here.
Maybe you should start drinking.
I should have. Well, that is a nice looking copy.
I know.
Wow. Pretty.
But everything about this book, man. I mean,
this is one I don't see quite as much either. I don't know why. A 1.8 sold for $250. A 4.0 is $500. A 7 is going to be $2K. But again, I feel
4.0 seems really, really fucking cheap.
Somebody could have snuck in and got it. Again, so few sales on these. Like when I'm reading these numbers, this is pretty much anything on GPA for the last year and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's be super clear, because I feel like over the last year, I don't know, everything will be.
You may not see those prices. And again, it's what's the next one sell for, what's the next one get listed at, what grade, what presentation. There's a lot that plays into these sales, and it's not just, the grade in the book. It's just a wide, are the colors faded? Do they pop? All these things you got to pay attention, especially when you're buying books just for the cover.
That's a really good point.
Oh, DS, you're killing me here. Killing me with your stories of these Cole books. You were living right. Kind of going into the sci-fi genre back when it was a little simpler. Captain Arrow Comics 26.
I just want to say one thing before we keep going. We've had a couple really good questions in the chat. We're not ignoring it at the end. We'll go back. Comic Jump at the beginning had a great question. And then Solo Wookie just now.
We're going to try and get to that hour mark without getting too sidetracked, and then we'll let you take us off the rails. This one is gorgeous. I don't love all of the ones that people are obsessed with, the space ones, but this one with the red earth in the background and the green and the blue, just holy smokes, I love it. I know people that get obsessed about this whole kind of his whole sci-fi kind of background, the contact, the flight, and all that. This one is gorgeous to me. 3.5 was $725 and a 6.0 is $2,500. So definitely a little higher price point to get in on this guy. But man,
but if you want to buy one now, the only available copy is a good 2.0 from MCS for $1,000.
Yes.
So to put it in perspective, this is a beautiful 1946. This is right behind Contact for me.
Yeah, this one is. I might like it more, but I love the color. So another of the flights, kind of in this realm, space theme, Captain Flight 11. A little tamer version than some of the others. This one, 2.0 is $830. A 4 or 5 is $1,500. People love the whole section of them. I think this is the one that's the odd man out for me. I just don't have quite the same vibe for it.
Dude, whatever's happening on the right of the cover is why I dig it. The hiding robot with the gun.
Yeah.
That makes the cover, despite the oddly, like, I don't know, way too phallic spaceship coming right at you.
Yeah, I don't know. It to each their own. I appreciate it for what it is. It's not my favorite of the run. Prices say differently that it's pretty wildly popular. So what do I know? I'm gonna go out of order just so we can finish this trifecta because the alphabet doesn't quite play that way. Contact. This guy has been a bit on a tear lately. There was a low grade sale for $200, but it had a corner looked like it was gnawed off, and we're talking a pretty sizable piece. April of this year, a 6.0 sold for $3,800, and the church copy, a 9.0, sold in 2018 for $12K. So just throwing that out there.
I really like that cover. I don't know.
Yeah, this one seems to be the king.
Really, really enjoy. It's because of the. Oh man, it's. I mean, it's ahead of its time. It feels like 1950s to me, but it feels like that. I don't know, man. The cover, the colors against the fucking jet black, like. Oh, in DS, the 105. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I know. So the 105 is a ridiculous, like, bird dragon cover. I went down a rabbit hole because the reason it's not on the list, and it should be, I saw it, I found out there was a foreign fucking edition. Here we are. I don't know what to say past that. Like, I literally went chasing it. Like, I was like, oh, there's a foreign, like, that's how it goes, man. And I'm like, this pulls up the list, and I'm like, oh, right.
There's about 10 that we could have added, but I would have not gotten done. So we will probably revisit.
We'll just pretend it's on there.
We'll use it somewhere else. You know, we'll show it again. We show a lot of these books in different shows. We'll make sure we do.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see Contact being. I can see people being just not having it, especially if you like the 105. I mean, the 105 is just. It's another. It's you know. That's modern or the late 40s, early 50s against the very different style of 46, 45. Anyway, Knights of Old. What are you doing? I sidetracked super easy. You almost got there, John.
Yeah, I know. Here, I'm pulling something up just for our man DS. This is the 105.
It is, and it's a ridiculously well. There you go.
So
it's an incredibly gorgeous cover.
Oh wait, shit! Damn it! I don't have it up. Where do I have it?
You just got to take down the contact.
That's why. I'm like, I got too many things going on, too many layers. There we go. So,
what up, McClay?
A gorgeous book. Hindsight. We could have put the whole damn run in here, honestly, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguing. This book's ridiculous. That said, there's a foreign version. I literally was going to grab images, and when I went to grab it, it wasn't this one. And I went, oh man, I don't know where I went.
And this is a 9.8, by the way. So who the hell has that? I don't know.
You found my copy.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ. All right. Jumping back in the alphabet one. This one, I think probably is.
I'm sorry. I just read. I read Knights of Old. The contact is lazy. I don't know why I found that so funny. That's fucking funny.
This one I think is one that's kind of coming down. Catman was really kind of big for a while. This one surprised me when I looked at prices. Maybe it's just, or ebbs and flows. A 1.5 went for $250. A 4.0 was a $500, and a 6.0 is $15. So,
I think those prices are all not what you would pay to get this book now.
I just think it's, the ebbs and flows of different people, different books, different times, and sometimes some just fall through the cracks.
There's the 31 or the 33 or both as well, but I don't think either. I think this is I don't know if it's the priciest, but it's the best cover of them.
Yeah, and who knows where they were, what auction did they hit? I didn't get into the detail, somebody listed a bin too low. All these things are possible. You see weird stuff on the census, but this is, a cool book. Catman's kind of got its own little, cult, if you will. So
I have the Crash. What is it? Crash 5? Fuck, I might have to.
You need to write stuff down.
It's not bad. I just need to pick a fucking more focused stream before we head into a discussion where I have to recall dates and things. I'm like,
yeah,
stop saying the word 40 times as well, cannabis.
All right, so
28's another good one.
Yeah, I know. So many. All right. Shocking Mystery.
This is where DS is like, I had 3 of them. I pressed 1, sold a 9. I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
This book's bonkers and impossible above a 4.
Yeah. 4.5 is $670. A 5.0 was $400. So cool. Again, the title always good. That skeleton in the background is freaking wicked and intense. All of it. I don't know what to say.
This is one of the first. I think this was my introduction to LB covers. The store that I always refer to when FPC and the fucking All-Star 8 comes up and the Tech 31, all that shit. Store owners are great, dude. He showed me this. He was like, hey, look what I got. It was a beautiful copy. It was like VF Plus. This is back in 2012, early 2012. And right at that point, I was like, well, fuck it. I need to go collect LB Cole covers too.
Yeah, good call.
And I did. I got a small stack, man. I have not gotten this book. Dakowit, how you doing? Great comics one we were talking about earlier. The ultimate Golden Age variant.
DS says he thinks 30 is the weakest of that Catman.
That's why another one. That's why I laughed earlier.
All right, so let's see. I got a couple pictures out of order, so give me a second here. I have to.
30 it's because it's the Bondage cover. The other ones are
yeah. This is one we debated on, but I didn't.
This book's incredible.
I think I've seen this one either. This is another one of those that I just doesn't hit my radar. Was not a ton of sales data on.
I don't think this book's easy.
No, a 2.5 was 660, a 3.5's 900, and a 5.0's 15. So, a few sales. I'm a fan of the purple background, so it's got that going on it.
It's got everything. This is one of those covers, right? You look at it, you're like, it's fucking great, and then you see the dude hanging in the background, and you're like, fuck, this cover is so good.
Yeah, that's the key piece is such in the details.
Man, this is the first horror issue of the run, I think. It's something. It's the first. There's a reason.
It gets retitled. It's something else before this issue. I don't remember what it came from, but
I don't think it was horror.
No. One more from this run. The 28.
Before you even say anything, I just want to say I bought this out of a fucking back issue bin in like 2012. And I sold it by the end of the year for like $100 because I thought it was a fuck of a flip. Man, a terrible fucking flip.
They happen. We all make them.
Why would I ever get rid of that book? Like, what part of me thought it was time to get rid of that?
The same part of me that said, go 6.
This isn't for me.
Yeah, so we all make mistakes. It's interesting is that the lady in the picture makes me think of the pearl necklace cover. I can't think of it.
Oh yeah, huh?
It kind of looks like her.
Huh? That's weird.
But you can't go wrong with a demon woman in a dress. Going after the painter. Again, probably not my favorite of the run, but I appreciate it. Some pricing. A 4.0 was 500. A 5.0 was 742. So you can eke in that $500,000 mark and get a decent looking copy. Two more before we get to the big boys.
Is Spook 29 the lava monster thing? Knights of Old? If so, I'm with you. Keep going, John. Sorry.
Startling Terror Tales 5 with the 6-armed monster beast. Frick. I don't even know what to say.
Hanging bodies.
Yes. So this is another one. Just so much going on. I don't even know where to start. And again, the red, yellow, green combo that he just seems to love and thrives in that color palette and does it so well. Gorgeous. Yeah,
I have a really low grade copy of that book. Like really low grade. Yes, exactly.
Lost. Oh no, a 4.5 sold for $1,000.
See, and that's that. And when we say entry level, like you can get 0.5s, you can get 1s, 2.5 is realistically the entry level, unless you want to go like bottom of the basement, like what happened to the cover, but at least enough of the important stuff's there, and you can, and then you're still paying real money. I think this is still a few hundred in like destroyed condition.
All right. Suspense 10.
Yeah, this threw me off. I thought this was way higher than it was.
I agree. I got looking at the numbers, and it could just be one that fell through the cracks. A 4.0 in March sold for $1,000. There's several on sale for around $1,000, including a 2.0. So I don't know. That 4.0 was probably a low sale, but people are fishing to trying to get $1,000 for lesser copies. So it probably.
But they're sitting there. They're not They haven't sold recently, so what number do they sell at? If you changed it to $750, does somebody go, I'll take
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
What I mean?
it may just be a glut in the market too, as sometimes too many come up and you can be pickier.
That's a good point too.
A book that ebbs and flows, it's a great cover. There was too much supply and demand to kind of move it up to that next tier, I guess, in my eyes.
Oh, I agree. I think this is the earliest Cole I have, and I got this from Carbo. And as in every book you ever get from Carbo, there's a story, but we will do that a different time.
Yeah.
We'll get a Carbo story.
Yeah, so DS doesn't love this one either. Whatever. It's not, again.
I don't think the cover itself is great. There's so many. I think it's a classic.
It's maybe one that's fallen out of the realm.
There's not enough to it. There's no draw.
Yeah.
This
next one, pricing has it where pricing has it, but I'd almost argue you didn't quite include it as a grail on my list. It's probably right there. This is the one that I regret not buying probably 100 times I've looked at it. Is the Thrilling Crime 49. I think this one is one that's probably moved up extremely quickly in the last couple years. And, right on that edge of best couple covers versus really, really great,
I didn't push it into the grail zone because in my head, you can get a low grade for $500-600.
2.5 was a little under 8. A 4.0 is 2,200, and a 8.5 is 4,300. I think it's jumped a lot in the last year.
Seems like a bargain on the 8.5.
Yes, but that's what I said. I think it's been moving up. Because I used to see it and be like, yeah, $300. I got other stuff. And now that kicked my ass because I don't think I'd find it anywhere near that. So I think this one has just kind of hit its appreciation, point, and people are going after it. This is one that if I had, I would be holding. Because I think it's going to kind of keep climbing, just something about it. It's just got almost a romance cover vibe. Yeah, screw you.
I know.
It's I don't know. I don't know what it is. The coloring has always gotten me.
Everything about it works. That's what it is. Everything about the center being the woman and every little piece going and the dead poisoned body or the whatever is everything that's happening, and then the snake, like,
yeah, that's all I gotta say. Crazy.
It depends how many are out there, DS, right? Like, we used to say that about Chamber. I used to be, like, Chamber's now like over $1,000 a point, isn't it? 19.
It's sitting right around there. Depending on the lower grade, it's usually higher, and you get into the middle, it kind of sits.
Yeah, because there's that whole beautiful man. When I first got into investing in 2011, I put everything I could into low grade keys, and I mean, it didn't. It's funny, with gold, I should have bought the nicest. I should have done what everyone says: buy the nicest copy of the nicest book you can. I should have done that with gold and bought like 20 fucking comics and not 1,000. With silver, we experienced that beautiful, like, oh, okay, a 1.0. The difference between a 1.0 and a 2.0 is next to nothing because people just want to get in. So the AF-15, the Hulks, the FF1s, the X-Men ones, and that's what you see with these really high Black Cat 50 Chamber which again, Chamber's new to that. I mean, Black Cat is kind of too, right? But I don't know. The whole point being, this could be, this could be a book to do that if enough people start saying, "Oh shit, I need that," the way they did with Chamber.
Exactly. It's not going to be masked, but it's going to be. It's my favorite to have some jumps.
Yeah,
yes, that red, yellow, blue you guys are talking about. I think that's what's always caught my eye. I'm like, why does that look so good? It should not. All right, so these are the kind of top of the top here. These are the masters. These are the ones that
the chase
everybody wants. Yes, the grails, if you will.
And there are more. I know there's like 40 more to add. That said,
these were Ben's 5 favorite, and usually most of these are the universal favorites.
I was gonna say it's would speak by proxy.
Yeah, this one, we were talking about it. It seems to be one of the most popular. It's not my favorite, but the hairy skull it's a freaking crazy image. I don't know, man.
Bloody hands, like everything, man. It's out there.
Yeah. For pricing, a 2.5 in April of last year, it's $12.50. A 4.5 in December was $2,800. A 5.0 in May snuck in for $15.60. So somebody bought at a really lucky time. I don't, whoever got that's probably freaking DS and is like, I sold it for $6.
Exactly.
I hope he did, because that was a buy. I mean, like I said, sometimes there's just wrong auction, wrong day, wrong buyers looking, wrong buyers don't have the money they need for the right book. Or it could just be a copy. It wasn't as nice as the 4.5 too. Who knows?
JJ. And Jessup, how you doing?
Oh, that 4.5 on the GPA was yours. Congrats. Selling, I hope. Oh, Iron Maiden cover. That's why. Got it. Ghostly weird. This one, and I don't know if Josh is still in the chat. You spoke of foreigns. I saw there was a UK sale that I missed. It wasn't on my radar. I didn't even know it had a UK edition. Sold for about 1/4 of the US price, and I was like, crap. It would have been a great buy. Ghostly Weird 122. A 3.0 sold for $1,400, and a 4.0 sold for $2K. A 6.5 was $4K. I mean, death ship. What else you gotta say? This one is freaking intense. I mean, you just see the radiation vibe, just everything it looks like chaos. Beautiful, beautiful chaos in space.
Exactly.
Oh man, I'm so pissed about the foreign one I didn't know about the UK. Oh, it went so cheap. I think it was like $500, maybe $6. It was something crazy.
Oh. That's brutal.
Why didn't I buy it? Why didn't I look?
I don't know. Yeah. Why weren't you looking at that?
Or why did I not? Why did I just not see it once it sold? I actually no. I think it was Nico's fault. I was doing a market report on it because we covered one of these sales here. One of these was fairly recent, and when I was looking for past sales, I saw the freaking UK one, and just went. Fudge.
I'm going to use a quick segue right there before we head to the next book.
Yep.
The weekend update. Oh, Christ. People, check it out. It is everything from Golden Age to modern. And it is proved super effective to stay on top of things, man. Nico, between the amount of research Nico does for the Flipside and the weekend update on the website, it's intense. It's fun to see crazy ass books sell for stupid fucking money. And it's also good to see stuff that's heading up and trending, and sometimes cooling off, and you can say, "Oh, it might be time to buy that."
Absolutely.
Either way, Nico weekend update site and Mondays on Flipside. Golden Age continues.
Yes. All right. So if you can guess the alphabet, the big boy is next. Mask One, the holy grail of coal collectors. Freaking ludicrous. That's all I can say. I've been staring at it in the background all night. This is one I wish I would have had my shit together on, and I just watched it go up and up and up and up and up and up. This is the one coal book that you're really not going to get into unless you're going to open your wallet up big time. A 1.8 sold for $4K, a 4.5 sold for $17K, and a 5.5 for $24K. So let that.
I feel like it's worth.
But a 1.8 is $4K. I mean, I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying you to get into this book at this point in time, you got to go, because it's probably one of those books too that the next 1.8 that comes up is $6K.
I think it is. This isn't even just coal collectors, and it's not just horror collectors. This cover, oh man, I don't know.
It's crossing genres. It's just become the chase book. It's similar to the Chamber of Chills 19. It's hit enough, checks enough boxes that there's a lot of people looking for it, and there is not a lot of supply.
Everything about the cover, every line of the cover, the logo, the price, the number one, like the detail in the fucking wings. I don't know, man. The pricing makes complete sense to me. This is a chase, and again, like, I don't know. Fucking kick yourself over and over for not getting into it. I don't know what I bought instead of getting into one of these, but I don't know that the returns were as good.
Yeah, right. Probably not. And so, yeah, frick. That's all I got to say.
I agree.
If you see one and you can afford it, buy it. Buy it.
Exactly.
And it's brother that, while amazing, it just happens to be Mask 2, Any other title, and it would probably thrive more. It just happens to be the other Mask. Wonderful Satan image, and torture and death, and beautiful vivid colors as always, mixed with dark. I don't even know how he does it.
Go ahead.
A 1.0 conserved is $1,500. A 1.8 blue was $4,600. A 3.0 was $7,800, and a 4.0 was $7,800 as well. So slightly less buy-in, but still a pricey book. I don't know. Numbers I can't play.
It's funny to compare it to the next book.
Yeah.
Just cover-wise, when you flip, do you mind going to the next one?
Yeah, I think we're actually skipping a couple. You want to go to the suspense?
No, the power.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Power 3. A 7.5 was the only sale I tracked, was $4,300, and then a 5.5 incomplete was $700. So somebody bought, an incomplete that probably looked pretty for a nice price.
And this has that deep, just jet black cover with and that's what makes Cole pop, right?
Yeah, he seems to just, the negative space he uses very well.
Right. So obviously this is earlier than Power 4, which earlier in the show I was like, that might be the first cover, man. Like, no, obviously this was before. So this is the earliest cover I know of. That's not a pulp. Before people are like, in 1942 we did a bunch of pulp covers. I agree.
Yeah. So
and then do Suspense before the last one. There's only 2 books left, right?
Yeah. So this guy, yeah, not a lot of sales. I think this one is pretty freaking tough to find. I don't see it ever. So just supply on this one is nil, as we can see from the sales data. So there's that. Suspense is what I was kind of thinking about comparing the devil covers. This one is a little more bright and airy versus dark and demonic with the
this cover makes me laugh every time because all I see is a big ass fucking dollar chain and he's literally making it rain.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, this one is a little goofier than the others, but again, red on top of yellow on top of green, it befuddles me how he makes it all work, and it would look terrible by almost anyone else.
It's because his chain hangs low.
Yeah. This one, 2.5 for 1,300. 6.0 last year for 2,800, and 8.5 in August of this year sold for 18.5. So big money on the high end grade of this book. If you're looking for, the root of all evil is money, this is your cover. Or you just need a devil with a chain. Why not?
Fucking chain. The only way that'd be cooler is if that dollar bill wasn't a chain and it was just like the attachment to the zipper of his suit.
Or his belt buckle.
Oh, dude, yeah, fucking just a giant ass fucking. If he did the belt buckle, though, he'd have to put the horns on the fucking dollar signs.
Yeah.
The only way you can make it more baller. Like, fuck. Whew. All right, we got one more.
Last book, and then we can hit some questions and follow up on some stuff. Startling Terror 10. The wicked skull-headed spider with, just bam. I don't know. Crazy, crazy book. This is, behind the masks, this one's probably the next most chased or popular, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
Everybody seems to want one.
This is, I'd go with like one of Mask and this. When somebody says Cole, I think Mask and I think this.
Yes. A 1.8 sold for $950, a 2.5 $1,200, and a 3.5 for $2,250, and a 6 sold for $4K. So slightly more demand or slightly more supply on this book than some of the others. Just there being a handful of more sales than we see on some of them. So
I have this somewhere, and I don't know where it is.
Well, that's a good book to not know where it is.
Well, logic would dictate it's in the box of good stuff that's at the bank, so, that's why I couldn't find it, but,
You can't confirm nor deny that at the moment.
Well, we all know what happened with fucking Werewolf 32.
Yeah, somewhere.
That book is still lost in this fucking office.
It happens, man.
Okay, well, it's gaining, so we're fine, but...
Oh, God. Demonic Ted DiBiase. I love it, JJ Maxwell.
All right, we got a couple minutes, so real quick, I want to.
DS ranks it his best pre-code horror ever.
It's. While you can say everybody there's no wrong answer, blah 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 blah. There definitely are wrong answers, and that is not one of them. There's 10 acceptable best PCH covers ever, And this is absolutely one of them. There's another one of them on the logo.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I didn't know that.
I definitely didn't know that either.
You got distracted, didn't you?
No, it's because it won't let me scroll all the way back up. Earlier, somebody asked if we had minimum investment grades. I know John and I are different. I kind of went over it. I mean, I didn't give a fuck what grade. I bought the lowest I could. I bought as much as I could. And I bought Golden Age because I wanted it. I knew it was going to be a fine investment in the theory of I wasn't going to lose money. I didn't know I was going to make the gains where we did. But I never had I remember laughing and thinking to myself, fuck that, when I talked to John about stuff. And he'd be like, well, if I see a 4 or an ice, I'm grabbing it.
It depends on the book. It depends on your your ability too. I mean, I don't have a ton of Golden Age. I mean, I know I said I had a short box, but a lot of that's, just low end stuff, nothing crazy. I have a handful of nice books, and sometimes you just take the one when the market has it that you can get. I don't know if there's a low end on certain things. That the more important the book, the more sought after it is. That point becomes lower. AF-15 sells in any grade because everybody wants it. Mask 1, people looked at that 1.0 and said, yeah, I'd pay twice that because everybody wants it. So it just depends on the book. We talked about the Young King Cole. Not everybody wants that. So your investment grade on that better be high because it's, chance of return is much lower. So it kind of depends what your aim is, what you're doing, and how picky you are. Because if you're coming over from moderns into Golden Age, you're going to have to spend a little time adjusting your expectations. So you want the prettiest cover you can get for the best price. And DS is talking about a mullet kind of copy there. The great front cover, missing some pieces in the back is a great way to spend some money on the Golden Age if you can.
Best way you can start the best.
This is a nice spine split you don't see that brings it down some. But you get yourself a vivid copy at a 3.0, you're living well.
I agree.
What was the other question that was floating around?
One more real quick, and then we're gonna boot scoot. Cannabis. Solo Wookie asked why I didn't have the Blue Bolt graded. I think John and I have wildly different views on this as well. I haven't graded a book since 2014. I mean, I've bought hundreds and hundreds of slabs in the past couple of years alone, but I'm not going to move. The short answer is I'm not going to move this stuff. I got that too. I love this fucking book.
Hold on now. I'm pull you up here. Oh yeah,
love this book. Love it. So.
Yeah, beautiful. Let me pull that down.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not going to sell them, and I trust myself enough to be able to look at a book and go, that's a VG to me without restoration.
Yeah.
And when it's time to sell, I will abso-fucking-lutely grade them because you want the premium.
Yeah, but if you're not selling now, I've changed my stance. I used to really like just grading it. It vindicated the purchases a little bit. Like, I thought I knew what I had, but sometimes just having it confirmed made you feel better when you were getting into the investments. I grade books about once a year, and it's a very small handful that are just moving from my hold pile to mostly moving to the sell pile, and I'll sneak a few in there just to put into the collection. But I don't spend the money on grading like I used to, just because I don't. It takes it from something that's not as liquid to something that's liquid, and I'm way more likely to sell it. So unless I really want to sell it, I try and leave it where it is. It also takes up less space.
I hear you.
So yeah, I don't have the. I got a lot of stuff that could be graded. I just don't choose to. So.
All right. I want to say thanks to everyone in the chat tonight. Super lively. Helped us move through this. Helped keep me from. I don't even understand where I'd be right now if I kept rambling.
Yes, absolutely. Good time with everyone. Thanks, DS, for hopping by. If you don't know DS, check him out on the Golden Guys, another great Golden Age show they do on their channel. So check it out. Thank you for helping out. And his Avatar, of course, is my favorite Golden Age book. So we share that in common.
Such a good paper.
All right, man. Check out Comic Barricade. Get the new XL size. CBSI Tales for a 10% discount. And check out comicbookinvest.com. And we will see you guys later.